For those that have never been in this part of the world, this is the map of Zimbabwe. And then right there, where the red dot is, that's the southeastern Lowveld, where our reserve is sort of located. In the Malilangwe Wildlife Reserve. Malilangwe is a local Shangani word meaning the call of the leopard.
The what? Nice. Call of the leopard.
The call of the leopard.
Ah.
Malilangwe. Right. So basically, our reserve is about 130,000 acres, which is equivalent to 60,000 hectares or 600 square kilometers. Right. And then we're located right there at Singita Pamushana, overlooking at this beautiful Malilangwe Dam. So this is the plant of life, right? The largest living creature on planet Earth, right? Some of them, their lifespan can even span up to over 1,000 years. Yeah. So can you imagine if your grandmother could live such a long time, how many stories she could tell?
What she look like?
And this evidence is actually there from what we're seeing on the plant. Something that we're going to mold up together, like we're going to visit one of these cave paintings that we've got on the property that also dates back to over 2,000 years. Yeah. And then how those Sen people who are the custodians of this land, how they used to survive and then living out of the baobab, right? And then also going back into the tapestries of times, Africa being the hunting ground. The early explorers that were coming into Africa would actually come here basically because of hunting, right? But because they didn't have any targets to sort of zero their rifles, but then they sort of utilized the baobab. So some of the scars we've seen are from those bullet holes.
Really?
Exactly, because whenever they shot at the baobab, there's no ricochet. You know, the bullet wouldn't come out, and then the thing will sort of penetrate through. All the other weavers are all yellow in color, and this is the old one out that looks black. So this here is more like an apartment, and then there's compartments inside there. Yeah, so there's actually maybe
Condominium.
exactly 8 or so.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's one of those birds that is able to perform this kind of behavior of more like cringing upside down, of whereby it has got double X's on the legs. And what he's sort of doing there is that he can clinch with one foot onto the tree, and then from there the other foot is sort of searching into those birds that sort of nest in the holes in the trees, looking for the nestlings, eggs, and the young chicks. Wow. Yeah. So this is actually a juvenile one, and
oh my gosh! Look at that wingspan.
remember the tongue there. So you're more like waking up, eh?
A young lady.
Look at the mom getting up now.
Here you go.
See head butting. That's, I think it's been a few days without feeding, eh? You see that rib case there. So basically, the male lions that you get in this southern part of Africa is quite different from the males that you get within the Eastern Bloc. Remember up in East Africa, Tanzania and Kenya, those that follow your National Geographic, I remember those sort of areas. See what's happening? Remember?
It's a little honeymoon dance. TT, your spirit animal awaits you.
He's all over her. He's like he's following her everywhere.
Much more taller as compared to the females. Why? Because of the mating purposes, so that he's sort of able to mount on the back. Yeah. So
I think we're about to see that.
yeah. So the older they are,
It's been looking
because
like it.
it's a matter of being of competition, of whereby he's going to try and seed as much as possible to sort of leave behind as many offsprings as he can before the demise. Eh? Let's just try and see if we can get a bit more closer and see what's happening with the one that look as though they're actually on honeymoon. Eh? Maybe it needs a bit of privacy
Yeah.
without us,
Yeah,
without us
exactly.
watching. Eh?
I don't think he'd really care.
No, not at all. Eh?
Not the way I know men.
Of whereby he keeps on sniffing on the back there.
Yeah. And we're just coming to Victoria.
You can see they pushed that tree down, and now they're eating the bark. The bark has got a lot of nutrients. There's another one right here.
Oh, can you see hiding behind the tree? Yes.
At TTTV, we like to bring you the most beautiful vistas at every hour of the day.
Oh, yeah. You just smile. Yes, you do. I go this way so I can just get the sun.
That's beautiful. Just beautiful.
Beautiful sunrise. Tell me what you think and tell me.
This morning's episode of TTTV brings you a rhino at his watering hole. Isn't he handsome?
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Their main food source is actually on the land, but because they don't possess any floodplain, they suffer a lot from flooding. Perfect.
That is the lodge up there. And we're staying up there. Hi, Tommy. Good morning again from TTTV. This morning's game drive has already brought us a beautiful hyena, and we're communing here with the tree of life. We're going to be bringing you a lot more today, so stay tuned.
Yeah, stuff like your elephants, they mourn each other. So which means if one dies, they come in that area and start picking up the bones of the deceased one, spreading it around, like what happens to us human.
To remember.
Yeah, to remember.
To honor.
Yeah. They all come together with their heads together, complete silent. Yeah, as the memory of think of their deceased one.
Honoring Dick in the elephant graveyard here in Zimbabwe.
No, baby David's not with David.
So the present day name of the country is Zimbabwe. So Z in the local language actually means big. Then Mba is actually a house. And then Bwe is a stone. So big house of stones because of the Great Zimbabwe ruins, of whereby they sort of use them, the bricks, but without any mortar. Yeah. Who were the people that did these paintings and why were they painting? And then how old are these paintings? Right. So I'll probably start with the latter. These have been carbon dated to be between 2,000 and 10,000 years old. And the people that did these paintings were the people that were known as the cavemen, known as the Khoisan people or the Bushmen, right? And these were the custodians of this land. Remember, my ancestors I am not part and parcel of these people, right? My ancestors were of the Bantu origin, right? And then we were more Agro people that came in from the north. Historians remind us that we originated in the area around West Africa, yeah, within the 1400s. And then we started coming down this way, heading cattle, being subsistence farmers. But these people here were here already. These were people that were very short, light-colored in complexion, and then they spoke in that clicking language, right? So why were they doing these paintings? So these paintings were more of diaries, you know, to reflect their lifestyle for the future generation of themselves, right? So if some of them came to have a look here, this will actually give a meaning. So there's actually two types of paintings we're seeing here. One of them is that of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, of the kind of animals that we've seen back in those days. But some of them were what we call the shaman. The shaman were the healers of the land. So people will actually go into trance. What they saw in trance is what they sort of came back and then painted. Yeah. And then what did they use to paint? To paint, they actually extracted what's known as iron oxide, which occurs within these rocky areas. And then they made a dye from different barks of the trees. But also, they could also have used blood from wild animals. Yeah. So, looking back into the tapestries of the times of these people here, they were very peace-loving people who never had any conflicts whatsoever amongst themselves. Everything amongst themselves was done for a reason, and everything that was provided was actually God-given by God. That even animals had rights. It's like that whenever these people went out hunting, if they killed something, before the meat is distributed, even before they started skinning that animal, they would ask for forgiveness from God, that look, we're to kill this poor soul because we're going to feed on it. And then from there, everything is distributed equally. And then there was never any conflicts whatsoever that took place among themselves, and there was never any leadership that took place. They were all very, very equal. Even the shaman themselves, who were the healers of the land, they were not given any status whatsoever. They just remained on the same as everybody else, right? And then moving on, where are these people today? Who was responsible for their demise? My ancestors, right? As we were coming down here, because amongst ourselves, there were leaders. And then there was also a hierarchy as what we get today. Finally get today, there's Bill Gates, who's #1 in the world, the wealthiest person, and then he's actually given us a bit of respect. But amongst us, the Bantu-speaking people, it was the respect was given according to how many goats or how many cattle I had, right? And then there was more of hierarchy status, yeah. And then as we were coming down here, being subsistence farmers, right, heading our cattle down, we came across these people. But then there was actually a barrier in language, simply because they spoke in the clicking language, and then my ancestors spoke like the way I'm speaking, but in the local language, right? And then the little bushman is now seeing this cow for the first time, right? And then he shoots the cow, right? And then the Bantu comes in and says, "Why did you shoot my cow?" And there's actually conflict that's sort of happening. And the Bantu, and then the little bushman says, "Would you like me to give you a piece? Would you like us to share?" But they couldn't understand one another. And then we were much more taller people and more vocal.
Physically bigger.
Exactly, yeah. And then these people then decided to move into the Kalahari areas, in the areas of whereby there's no farming or anything, where they continued their lifestyles. I'm sure any one of you have watched the movie that was created here in Africa, The Ghost Must Be Crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
So that depicts the lifestyle or the lifetimes of these people. The material. Because remember the shaman, whenever you sort of went into trance, he would be highly, highly intoxicated. I wonder what they smoked or drank back in those days to go in the spirit world. So then one is coming from the spirit world and then decides to come and do a painting, but because it's too high and then falls over, the next morning he forgets what he was doing. So some of the stuff is not finished material. Yeah. fast to reach the same size as the adults. If you don't grow, you get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the cutest thing.
Very rich in phosphorus and protein, and elephants love these plants like you can't believe it. Yeah.
That was the Mopani tree we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is now the leaf that I'm holding right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So then basically you found that in the early hours of the morning, this leaf sort of opens up, but then because of heat, it sort of retracts inside. Yeah.
It's a little honeymoon dance.
Whereby it keeps on sniffing on the back there.
And we're just coming to Victoria.
You can see they pushed that tree down, and now they're eating the bark. The bark has got a lot of nutrients. There's another one right here.
Can you see ivy in the tree?
Because it's warming up now and it's cooling. Himself using the ears.
Look at his ragged left ear.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, it's just mounting.
Oh.
And also there will be, it's a sign of dominance. You
Yeah.
can see the other one, that's the bull there, it's not a female. The one, the smaller one